Hello and welcome to the Creabea Knitting Podcast. Hi, my name's Rebecca. I'm a knitter and knitting pattern designer. I'm based in Edinburgh and this is a vlog or a podcast all about knitting, what I'm currently knitting on, what I've been knitting on, and what I'd like to cast on in the not too distant future. And I took an accidental 3-month break from filming. It wasn't really planned and then it became like a big thing to come back, and so we're sitting down today for the first time in months to have a little chat, share what I'm working on. I've got a fat stack of projects beside me. I went through my whips and worked out which ones are interesting and which ones are relevant, and I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to sitting down and having a chat again. It feels like it's been a while. I feel very out of practice, which I suppose I am. I will do some like life chatter and updates at the end of the video because that is probably when people who care enough to want those things is going to stick around to. But I'll jump in pretty much straight away with the knitting. And the very first thing is that I have a new pattern to talk about. It's kind of my last summer pattern, more on that next, but it was my scheduled last summer pattern. And it's actually a pattern that I worked up last year. It is the Gia tank. I'll put some pictures in while I'm talking and I'll show you the one that I'm wearing. So Gia is an island off the west coast of Scotland and it has famous beaches which are called twin beaches. And somebody at Knit Night taught me the geographical term on Monday and I've completely forgotten what it is. It's start with a T. But the beaches ultimately come in and there's ocean on both sides. And so there are these two beaches and a strip of land in between. And this pattern is just, I think it's the perfect name for this pattern. So this pattern is a tank top. It is available in DK and in 4-ply. They both come on the pattern. And you work this front panel. I don't know if this is the best sample to show you. Maybe I'll just show you the one I'm wearing. You work this front panel, this one here, and then you work the same for the back, and then they're joined. Now this version is the rib finish. So it is joined with a big bit of ribbing that goes up here, over the shoulder, and then back to the other side, and you join it. So you end up with this very fun look like this. Sorry, it's not actually very summery outside and I feel a bit weird. Also, I can't even bother changing it for red bra. I feel a bit weird just wearing a tank top when it's not that nice. So I'm wearing my shirt over it. And so one version is that you can do it with this ribbing detail, which looks like this. And then the other version is that instead of doing ribbing, you can like insert a panel into the side. And that panel can be anything, and as long as it meets the dimensions given, you can do whatever you want. And so I did this because I had these granny squares lying around that I was planning. I don't really crochet, but I thought I will try. I think I wanted to make like a crochet t-shirt like 4 years ago, and I had 9 granny squares left. No, that's not true. I had 8, 16, 17 granny squares because there's one left on my pin. I've got these pin boards behind my desk over there, and there's one over there as well. And so when I made the first version of this, I thought, oh, I could do that with crochet as well. And so it's got my crochet squares on the side. These were not planned. These were like, the crochets came first and the pattern came later. But I think it works really well. And there she goes. Oh, it's so wrinkly. I got a comment on my last pattern launch that said, my patterns look really wrinkly. It was not as kindly worded as that. It was actually quite a rude comment, but they were kind of right, and I think it's worse with summer patterns because everything is linen and it's all creasing so much. So I painstakingly steam blocked all of these last night to go take the photos, and then I have left them like bunched up in the bag, and so they're a little bit wrinkly again today. And so there we go. The straps are, I mean, obviously I just told you that my bra strap is on show, but I think if I was wearing it properly, and probably a matching colour, it covers the bra strap front and back, which I like to wear because I'm not really worked out what my summer solution to straps is yet. So in my head I'm just surviving with thicker strap things. After the test that started, people asked about bust shaping, so there's now also bust shaping. It's a slightly different bust shaping to how I normally do it, which is quite fun, something a bit different. Arguably something a bit more simple, which might be a fun way to do bust shaping. And yeah, it knits them so quickly because you knit, like, you do a front panel and then you do the back of this is actually literally muddy because my dog ran over it yesterday. I had to wear, like, for me there's not a front and back because I don't have bust shaping, so the back and the front are identical. So I just wore it the other way around, or just like did the mud at the back. There's a secret that you know, if you see the photos you'll know that one side's actually muddy. I've got a 4th sample as well. The one downside is I lost quite a lot of weight in the last 9 months or something, since like the tail end of last year, and it was all on purpose, and like that's just something I've done. The downside is a lot of my knits don't fit me. There will be a time in the next few weeks hopefully where I will be clearing out these shelves, which is a lot of knitting, a lot of which doesn't fit me or that I'm just not wearing as much, and so like I need to do something with them. But I thought I was very organised this year because I knit all of my summer patterns last year, and then I got to this year and I realised that I've lost about 10 to 12 centimetres on my chest. Which is like multiple sizes in knitting patterns, and especially like I can still, like a sweater that's 10 centimetres bigger, like yeah, go for it. It's just a baggy sweater now, like an oversized sweater. But it's more challenging with like tank tops and t-shirts. And so this is my one that fits me perfectly. Here we go. It fits nicely, nothing is gaping, nothing is loose, this is all nice and tight. And unfortunately my samples from last year are just big. So I'll decide what I do with those at a later date. But there we go. I love this white one. I'm a little bit tan this year. I've been spending a lot of time outdoors doing fun things like paddleboarding, hiking. Went to the beach last weekend, which is lovely, and I've picked up more colour than I guess I usually do, and so I was wearing this last night. I'm looking at the camera thinking I look the same colour as this on the screen, but I thought I looked cute and tan, okay? So that pattern's available. It is technically my last pattern of the summer. DK 4-ply, what else to say, I don't know. Most testers did do crochet on the sides, but someone's done a really beautiful like cobalt blue with a lace panel at the side. This one is obviously like the body is striped, and this is plain, but I also thought it'd be fun to do the other way around. So something is really itching my shoulder. I think it's this shirt. Is there something in there? It was a grass seed from my sample. From presumably taking photos last night and me throwing my samples on the ground when I'm done. So yes, it is online. You can use the code GIGA10, GIGHA, for 10% off until Sunday evening. If you are a newsletter subscriber, there is a bigger discount in the newsletter, so you can head there and get more of a discount. And yeah, I think I might have one more summer knit left in me, like that I'm going to be, well, I've kind of got 2 of my needles, and I think after that I might be transitioning out of summer knits, so I don't think I'll have any more of these samples this year, but I hope to make a few more next year, because I love how easy they are to wear with anything and you're not like thinking about things. And I think I could do one in 3 days. Like this panel, for me, like a panel takes a day, that panel takes a day, and then the straps, that part, like the straps and the ribbing take a day. So that's, yeah, pretty easy going. So I'd like a few more next year, because I think by that point I'll be destashing these ones. I used Drops Bell, Santa's Garden Lena. I think it's Drops Bell. I don't think there's a Lena in this colour, I think it must be Bell. And then this I used Drops Cotton Merino. I don't really like Drops Cotton Merino, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't mind it knit up, I don't really like working with it. It feels very round and almost plasticky to me. And it's heavy, which I think is suitable for some projects, but like this is just so much lighter and like drapier by the feel of it, and this just feels like quite a heavy thing to wear, which for a tank top, it's probably not what I'm looking for. So I think if I make more, I will make them in, I've got yarn to make a red one. I forgot about that. In that orange feeling, is that what it's called? The very bright Santa's Garden red that I just love to make everything in. And I think I can get out of like 5 skeins of Belle or Lena. So there will definitely be another one. Probably at this point it's going to be next year, because I'm excited about things I'm casting on. And my list is huge. I literally have a list on my phone of things I'm allowed to cast on. I told myself if I write them down, I'll feel better about not casting them on right now. It's like a, there's a word for that. Like it's like kind of cathartic. Like you can't knit it right now, but you can just give it time and cast it on. You write it down and cast it on later. So yeah, that is my first summer pattern. So where's the easiest to go next? Should I do current things? It'll be a bit jumpy around it, I think. Let me talk about something else then that's going out in my newsletter today, and then I'll get jumping into like finished objects and whips, because I think, with the exception of one, all my finished objects are related. Like I've got a whip that matches it, I think. Maybe 2. my charity pattern of this year is going to testing, and it feels a little ridiculous because it's called my Nollaig sweater, which is the Scots Gaelic word for Christmas, and that is because it is a festive jumper, which is the test starts on the 29th of July. That feels weird and wrong, but it's a big long test now. It's a 14-week test actually, longer than, no, yeah, 14 weeks, which is what I try to aim for. And 14 weeks from now is the start of November. Fun fact. So it feels slightly crazy, a little weird to be planning Christmas things already, but that is where we're at. So let me show you my very first sample, and then let me talk about you may have remembered this. This is from November of last year. I had the burning urge to cast on a Christmas sweater, and bows were everywhere last year, and so I made this round neck sweater, which I called my bow sweater, but I knew from the get-go that what I really wanted was to have these motifs be interchangeable. So that's exactly what has happened. And so it is a DK weight pattern. I can't remember the gauge. Is it 20, 21 or 22 stitches? It's something around there. I use Knitting for Olive pure silk mohair and regular yarn. I've got a little loop of mohair that I have not caught properly. And there are a couple of fit options. So there will be 2 fit options in the adult sizes. There will be fit 1, which is graded to a standard women's sizing chart, and fit 2, which is graded to a standard men's sizing chart. And then there's also, and they all have the same set of motifs, so like you can make a matching one from fit 1 and fit 2. And then there are also children's sizes, which I'm very excited for. I need to decide if I'm going to make them. I don't know yet if that's all going to be one pattern or not. I'm not there yet. I have to think that through. It's a charity pattern. Like normally if it was me I'd be like, I'll chuck it all in one, but I'm like, it's a charity pattern. Maybe I'll make them 2 separate patterns. We'll see. The kids one will have a different set of charts, like smaller. The adult charts are all like fairly big, whereas the children's charts are smaller, so I can fit, you know, otherwise it's harder to, like, fitting this into baby sweater would be quite big. So there'll be little bows. And I'm excited. I think it's going to be really fun. I am so interested to see what testers do. I love a creative test knit. I love when I start a test that I think like, well, let's see what the testers do, and that is how I'm feeling about this one. So let me show you what I've worked on the last few days. I have some swatches. I wanted to show off some of the designs to like inspire the testers, but a couple of factors. One, I used all of it is in Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool, I think, or Drops Lima. So I have a bunch of like skeins of those colours, and I thought I'll just use what I've got, which I'm glad I did. But it does mean like it's a little bigger than the gauge required for the test knit, so it just feels a little chunkier. And 2, I knit all the swatches flat, and my colourwork flat is okay, but it is not perfect, so some of these are a little messy, so just don't judge me. So I've done 6 designs. There will be probably close to, I don't know. At this point I'm considering, like, I'd like to do baubles, and I'd like to do like a couple of different baubles so that you could mix and match, and like maybe there'll be like 4 or 5 bauble designs, you know, like Christmas baubles. And you can switch them in and out. Like right now I've got 1, but I think that'll become like 6. So the charts are endless, and I'm very excited. And I just keep making new charts, which is really fun. So what have I knit up already? Okay, this is one of my favourites. This is the Christmas lights. And some of them are 2 colour. This is my neatest one. Look at the back of those floats are good. The rest are not. That is, look at these floats for comparison. What I thought would be fun is, like, I've chosen for ease of this was 1 in this colour, 1 in this colour, but if you were it's only going to be like, I don't even know what, like 20 something rows in colour work. Maybe you do 3 colour work, and you, like, this is a different colour, and maybe you do like 2 and, I don't know, 2 and 2 up here. I think this is like, they're both 3, so it would have to be like 2 yellow, 1 blue, 2, I don't know, but you know what I mean? So maybe you make these like multicolours. Also, how fun would it be with sparkle? I've got some sparkle yarn for, I'll show you in a second another swatch. But how fun would it be if you like sparkled some of these up? That'd be so fun. Okay, so there's Christmas lights. This is also one of my messy ones. There's snowflakes. Again, can you imagine this but with a blue sparkle running through it? I'm trying to decide which, I think I'll have 2 samples, I think. So my bow plus 2 more. Maybe I'll make a friend a kid's jumper so that I can like get 1 more sample out. And I think I like these ones. I think that'll be really beautiful with these. The same with the stars. My stars is my messiest swatch. I held Stellaris by Kremke with it, and I will say I don't think it worked very well for my flat floats because some of them, they ended up so much bigger than my yarn floats. But that does have a little bit of sparkle. Again, it's not picking up at all on camera. Stars! Mistletoe. I changed this since I did it. This middle straight line I've now made a wobbly line. Mistletoe, I need to block this one better. And then also this will have an option for these to be baubles instead of colour work. That does look so messy, but I think it'll be so cute. Holly. I like this one a lot. And again, this will have the option for baubles instead of berries. And depending on the number of repeats, like you could switch these up, right? So you could work one this way and then like work one the other way up if you wanted to like switch it around. And then my current work in progress one is this Christmas tree, where I've done the tree and I put a French knot at the top, and then I've got that red glitter where I'm trying to add tinsel. But I was sitting outside doing it and like enjoying myself, and then I thought I have got so much to do today, which includes filming a podcast, launching a pattern, finalising a test call, and I'm flying to the Netherlands tomorrow for a 1-day trip, and I leave very early, so I was going to pack for the Netherlands. So I was like, why am I sitting here sewing tinsel onto this when I have 101 things to do? So that's what we have so far. I think there will be many. I'd like there to be like 30 options, but I might live to regret that. And then the kids ones also have them. So the test call for that is in my newsletter. If you sign up, I think if you sign up now you get the most recent newsletter. I think that's how it works, but I'll make sure that is switched on. And I'm excited for that. I'm hoping, like my plan is like 14 weeks is for me is quite a long test. I think what I will likely do is finalise which version I would like. I also really love the holly. It's so cute. But I think I want the mistletoe on navy with the green and like maybe a brighter green. And I want little baubles. Popcorns, I think they're called, which are like a smaller bauble. Oh, but also these are so fun. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm going to hopefully that some testers are going to finish first and I can copy some testers. It's my favourite way to get inspiration from everything I do. So yeah, this is a Nolic sweater. All the proceeds will go to the Fistula Foundation until the end of the year, so it'll launch early November. There'll be like 2 months of it being available, and then it's a bit weird, like when do you release a Christmas pattern? It's kind of hard because on the one hand you have to have it ready for Christmas or like want to wear around like for festive things. For my size, I could, and I'm a full-time knitter, I could crack out a mostly stockinette with a little bit of colourwork sweater in 3 weeks. So like early November, I could have it finished by December. But that's also like, it's a busy time of year, people might not be in agreement with that. And then like you kind of want to be knitting on your festive thing during the festive season. Like I really enjoyed knitting on, it made me feel more festive making my bow sweater when it was Christmas time. So maybe you knit it before? I don't know. I'm going to sneeze. But yes, feel free to let me know if you think I'm releasing it at a completely incorrect time. I believe I will be regretting it because I think like 2 weeks before it launches the book previews will go out, and then 2 weeks after it launches the book will come out, and I'm just going to be sitting in the middle like, hey, see all that book chaos I'm sharing? Here's my Christmas sweater. Right, next things next. Christmas, fun, what should we do? Should we do finished object? Let me do. Okay, I've got one finished object that's not tied to a single whip. So let me do that and then I'll start doing the rest because I think the rest are all tied to a different work in progress. So I made a Tosta tee, except I made it in wool and mohair. And I love it. I will say the last few weeks have been lovely and like summery, but we did not get the most summery start to the year. I feel like June was pretty chilly. It was like 14 degrees. And like jeans and jumper was very much the go-to, and the last maybe 2 weeks have been like gloriously warm, like 25 degrees, really nice, proper feels like summer, like warm your bones kind of weather. But it was cold before. And I have a couple of book patterns which I have been living in. There's one of them literally at my feet right here on the floor because I was wearing it before I sat down to film. I need to stop wearing them because I need to be able to take them to places and there need to be samples that can be showed off, and I just keep wearing them. And one of them is like a beige oversized sweater, and so I thought, wow, I'm going to knit a beige oversized sweater. And I wanted a raglan, I wanted something plain and in the round, And so I swatched these two yarns and I was like, oh, what a shame, it happens to be 17 stitches. I have a pattern for that. So I've not made a Tosta in ages and it was really fun to do. So here she is. Now I made some changes. Let me talk about it. I knitted to pattern. Like numbers wise it's to pattern. But what are the things I changed? I'm pretty sure I cast on after, so the Tosta you cast on for the neck. I'll put a picture of the Tosta here. For the Tosta you cast on for the neck and you do ribbing and then you go straight into the pattern, and for this instead I skipped the ribbing and then I went back later and picked up for the collar. I made the raglans a stitch bigger. I really wanted this to be 2x2 rib. I'm feeling the 2x2 rib at the moment, and so I wanted the raglans to also be a 2-stitch raglan, and so I just borrowed a stitch from the body for the raglan, and then when I split for sleeves the raglan stitches all went to the body and so that stitch just went back. So I don't know the exact numbers, but say it says that like the sleeve is 11 stitches and the body is 22 stitches. And then 1 stitch for the raglan, I put like 1 stitch from here to the raglan and 1 to here to the raglan, and so I had 20, I had 2, and then I had like the sleeve stitches. Very easy to do, and otherwise you just follow the numbers, and it's just that when it tells you like you should have X number of stitches for the body, you take off 4 because like 4 of them have gone to each of the 4 raglans. Well, 1 to each of the 4 raglans. So that is what I did. I started the ribbing earlier. It's a very narrow rib, and I did like I think it's like 8 centimeters of 2x2. I'm trying to remember if I had to modify my stitch count to make it divisible by 4, and I can't remember is what I'm going to say. For this, like for regular ribbing, you just need it needs to fit like multiples of 2, but for 2x2 ribbing you need multiples of 4. And there's a possibility that for my sleeves and for my, I think I might have done the sleeves and the body. The sleeves I think I maybe did a few, or like a little bit decreasing fewer, maybe to like 48 or 52, so that it could fit for 2x2. I really am out of practice. And yeah, I love it. I'm a little scared to wear it because it's so beautiful, and I'm like, oh no, which I need to just get over myself and do. It has now been glorious for 2 weeks, I've not touched it, but the week that it was finished in between was perfect. I used a new-ish to me yarn. This is Gepard Woolia, held with mohair. Maybe Gepard mohair? I had it. Oh yeah, no. It's not Gepard Kidsita, but it's the other Gepard mohair, because I think the Kidsita is like the fancy one. I used this yarn. How long ago was it since I filmed? Have I shown you this? I don't know. I have this Solace, which is another sewing pattern that came out this year. This is my Solace cardigan. And I used the Gepard Woolia held single for this, and also got 17 stitch gauge. So that is it held single, and then the mohair, like it's just much denser, but it's still on gauge, but it is just, it's so much thicker, and like the wind is not coming through this at all. So yes, my very summery, most popular summer knit pattern, the Tosta, except I made it in a full length sweater. But it is nice, like I have at this point like a basic drop shoulder, a basic raglan, and a basic set and sleeve, and so like at this point I feel like I could just, oh I want this kind of sweater, like okay I'll just follow the, you know, the number. I've already done that, which is quite nice to do. So that was very fun. Okay, let's move into some more summer knits. Okay, let me talk about this one, which is, there's nothing happening with it, and like it's going to be a pattern next year, but it's been fun to work on. I'm really into boat necks at the moment, or like a slash neck. I think they're very in this year. I've been seeing them everywhere, but I'm also not sure if they've always been in and I'm just noticing them this year. I do think of it as being a very timeless look, and I think about like the Sabai top is probably the most popular summer pattern on Ravelry, and it is a boat neck, and it's been that way for like 5 years, right? So as long as that, I'm not even sure. I think it was out before Tosta, and Tosta must be 3 years, so I don't know. 4 years. 4 years. I was going to say, because I've done Solace this year, Lusk last year, Tosta Tank, and then the year before. So I think it must be about 5 years for the Sabai. So I've been loving it. All I have to say, I've been loving it. But at the same time, I'm like, well, the Sabai already exists, so like, what do I want that to look like? Like, is there really space for another boat neck tank? I'm not really sure. And then I just cast this on. I was watching Off Campus. Have we all watched Off Campus? Do we all love and hate it? I'm a Dean girl, which is no surprise to anyone, I don't think, but I love being a fangirl, and it was so fun to fangirl with everyone. And I read the books years ago, so it was fun to watch the books. And so I was like, oh, I just wanted like a frivolous, this is this was deep in book, I think. I think I was like wrapping up book knits and I was like, I just want to cast on something fun and just enjoy my life and not think about, there's no deadline and nothing else. And I was like, I'll give myself the evening. So tonight I just get to cast on whatever I want, watch off canvas. Sam wasn't home, I don't know where Sam was. I like ordered takeout, I was by myself for like 5 hours. I was like, this is amazing. And I cast this on. So this is my Unnamed tank top. It is a boat neck and it has these little teeny tiny I-cord straps. So like the front and the back are worked as separate panels, joined under the arms, and this sits super high. So like I have a Tosta tank, which is not dissimilar in that like you work from the bottom up and then like it's this kind of shape. But the difference being that this sits all the way up here, which I love. Now this sample is not perfect. There are a few things I want to fix. One, I need to be a bit more careful with my I-cord tension. It was too tight across the neckline, it's what I redid it, and in redoing it I think it's a little loose at the arms. I wore this on Monday to knit night and it's still got like full coverage, but I was like this, like there's a risk of side boob, which like risk is kind of fun sometimes, but I would rather just not have to think about it twice. And that is just because this I-cord is super stretched. I mean, I say that and it's not that, but like for an I-cord that's pretty stretchy. So I think I had to work on my various tension options. My first sample, like when I first finished this, these straps at the top were also much bigger and I shortened them in and they've pulled out a little even to finish them. So like again, probably even less space on those I-cords. The back is longer than the front, so like it does fit, like it sits really nicely at the neck because the back is about 2 centimeters higher than the front is. This is in Pure Silk Cut Double. I think for all of Pure Silk Cut Double, and I really like this. I like it a lot. I felt very chic, it felt very cool. I just wore it with my jeans, but I have this Uniqlo linen midi skirt that I really like. I think they call it a maxi, but I don't know. It's not like touching the floor. It's lovely. I feel like I'm surprised not everyone's wearing it. It feels like I got a dress from Uniqlo like 4 years ago that every single person I saw was wearing, and I expected this to be the same, and it's not, which surprises me. But yeah, so I wore this with it and I loved it. I felt super chic, very cool, and also it wasn't that crazy hot. It was like 25 degrees, but I was wearing like a DK weight knitted top and I felt completely fine. It was admittedly silk, so that is why. And I'll have to say, I've cast on a second one and I'm excited for this because I've actually not looked at this, because when I was thinking about what I'm taking to the Netherlands, I was like, I did a good project. And so as soon as I realised that, I basically stopped knitting on this because I thought this would be the perfect project to take with me. It is the same. It's in Pure Silk Cut Double in that red that I love. I don't know what the colour is called, but I love this red. I've cast on, I think, 2 more stitches for the panel, just was a little bit wider. And I'm going to make the panels a tiny bit shorter, and I've got like a few tweaks to make, but I'm excited. I've knit like this, what's that, like 8 centimeters worth. And oh, I remember this. It was in I was getting such yarn barf that I put it away because I was out and I was like, I can't handle the yarn barf. So my plan, I say this and I'm thinking, where's the rest of this yarn? I have to go find it after this. My plan was to take another ball of this and like a barber cord for this bit, and then just my needles, and I will take backup wooden ones in the off chance to get taken off of me. I'll take an extra pair of needles. But yeah, I think that'll be enough. Like I say, I'm in the Netherlands for like, I don't know, between 36 and 48 hours. I fly tomorrow morning and I'm back Sunday evening. But travel time, and I'm also like, I'm going to Schiphol and then I'm landing in, like I'm going down to further south. So there'll be a bit of train time, and so it'll be nice to have a little bit of things to work on. Although I'm going to a party tomorrow evening and our last train home is like it's like an AM, like that's like a wee hours of the morning, and I think it is unlikely that in the wee hours of tomorrow night or actually Sunday morning, I will be wanting to knit on this, but we will see. But yeah, it'll be fun, and it's just plain stocking out, so even if I'm like sitting chatting, I will get on with that. Some of my favourite bag, my Apollo knee bag, which I don't think I'll take because it's kind of thick, so I'm probably put this into something smaller. Maybe like a baggie somewhere. I mean, I definitely do have a baggie somewhere. Like something really thin. This is like, it's like Jacquard fabric, so it's like, feels like a upholstery fabric. So I'll take something a little thinner. So I'll take some less size bags. I'm just taking a little bag. No name. I feel like it's a chic name. I feel chic wearing it. And I don't know what chic, I don't think I have a chic name ready. I keep a list on my phone of places and what often so like if I run out, then I go to my list on my phone, and then sometimes my phone list, I'm just pulling it up, doesn't quite feel right, so then I go looking for more, and then I don't find the one I'm looking for on my list, but like I'm like, oh, that'd be good for a future one. Maybe Valtos, that could be fun. Or Feel. It doesn't feel like a Merkle. Doesn't feel like Merkle. It feels so chic to Merkle. My summer patterns are generally named after beaches or bays. So I'm trying to stick with that pattern. It was a bit accidental to start with and now I'm sticking with it. So we shall see what happens with that. But that is one whip and one project. Okay, let me get into some more whips. This is a little fun stack of whips, of projects with a fun whip to go with it. As I said here. So, Pointelle. Hello, I'm Rebecca and I'm beating this dead horse. No, listen, I had FOMO. I had such FOMO. Pointelle, if you are unaware, is a lace pattern. And I feel like generally, I don't think it's always, like I was looking up the actual definition of this and I don't think that it's always necessarily, I don't think it's always necessarily like lines of lace when it's talked about outside of knitting, but when we talk about it in knitting, it tends to have these like stripes of vertical lace work. Okay, I'm so out of practice podcasting that I have misplaced my tripod and my camera overheated because it's sitting on a stack of books instead. That's okay. I was rambling about Pointelle. Pointelle has blown up a little bit. It's very much like a little like micro trend in the knitting world. There have been some beautiful Pointelle patterns. I think there were some big ones that blew up earlier. I think some that have come out more recently that are size inclusive are Mip the Label has got one. Amy Shermakes just came out with like a tank top and cardigan combination, which I think is very cool. And there's a Jessie made Pointelle tank that came out earlier this summer. I think last year a couple of designers brought out beautiful ones which are not size inclusive, so I'm not going to plug them because I don't want to. And I had FOMO. I wanted Pointelle. And nothing that was there, like everything was a little bit more than I wanted. I wanted a little bit more simple. And the ones that maybe I liked a bit more were not size inclusive. And I was like, well, this is annoying me. So I made myself one. And I don't even know where it is. If I'm looking around and think, is it maybe lying around somewhere? Maybe, but I don't know. I knit it from the bottom up because I was too lazy to work out my maths. And it wasn't great. The fit wasn't very good. But I like the concept enough to try again. And I put a TikTok on because I'm on TikTok now because I'm cool and down with kids. And I was like, I don't know, I mean, I'm just interested, like at what point is it worth, like is it still worth making a pattern? If it's a trend, it's already happening, like is it still worth it? Or is it just been done already? I don't know the answer, but I decided that if I couldn't find one that I liked that offered the size range that I wanted, then surely other people feel the same way, and so I cast on. So it's coming out in August, and I've always taken August off. August has always been my free month with no releases, and it's not happened this month because I loved it so much and I was like, well, I have to get it out before the weather completely turns on me. And so what's kind of fun about it is it's a bit of a transitional piece. So let me talk about my sample, and then I've got another sample, and then I've got a whip. This is sample 1. It is knit in Filcolana Pernilla Highland wool. And here she is. It's called the Luce Vest, Luce, and it is DK weight, and I added some little flowers to this. Now I do think I'm going to keep the embroidery, but I don't think I'm going to keep this embroidery. I think I'm going to change it up, but I'm thinking maybe some like green and yellow daisies, but I'm still undecided. I think it would be beautiful with embroidery though. Something a little fun and something more involved than this, but I've just not sat down to do that yet. It is worked from the top down with a European shoulder. So like you increase along this line here, and then the armhole is quite deep, which I enjoy for like wearing it as a winter piece. And it's got very, 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 very simple Pointelle lace, so I like that a lot. But of course I had to like add some more options. And so what I've liked about it was I was like, well, it's going to be in August, which is like maybe you're getting a head start on your summer knitting, on your winter knitting. Maybe you're in a part of the world which is only getting hot just now, like Southern Hemisphere, or maybe you're in a part of the world where like it's going to stay warm for another few months. Like in my head, September is cold already, but actually September will still be quite warm here. I think it's probably not until October we start to get properly autumnal weather. So I have a wool and cotton version. This version is, this was knit by Luce. Is that right? Yes. I was like, have I just named the wrong person? And this version is the v-neck. Now the buttons are not on, so I'm holding it up, but like you can't really see it fully closed because the buttons are, I've not added buttons yet. I just arrived yesterday. She did such a good job. She did a sew and bind off around the neckline, which I would not have done. So it is nice. It's just a little luxurious for a sample. It does a better job than you would. Sew and bind off everywhere, to be perfectly honest, but also sew and bind off around the neckline. Wow. And yes, this is in, I've got a picture of me in it holding it together, but that's me in it. This is in wool and cotton held double from Knitting for Olive. And what I like is that like this is a smaller size, so I have less ease. This is the next size. This is a size 3, this is a size 4, which isn't helpful because you don't know the context and I don't know how much of a difference there is between it, but I think I have like 10 to 12 centimeters of ease in this and I have like 2 on this. And it's funny, like I love a pattern which feels different in different, like you can knit it in different ways and it feels different, but it really feels like a very different purpose, which is fun. This I will wear in the summer months, probably by itself. Maybe with a camisole underneath it, and like a pair of jeans, and this I'd wear with like a t-shirt or a long sleeve underneath it. And then while I was at it, I was like, it'd be so nice to have a cardigan as well. Now the cardigan works with a round neck. I was a little like, because it's got such a deep armhole, this doesn't really work for a cardigan, because it's a set-in sleeve, so you'd have too much fabric going over too much of a space, and it needs to be a fitted armhole to be a cardigan, really, for it to fit nicely. So the armhole is a repeat shorter for the cardigan version, which means the cardigan version is only available on the round neck. There's a world in which you could redo the maths. You take out 12 rows ultimately, and if you really were committed to doing that in the v-neck, you could do it yourself. But the whole thing is charted, and I was like, I want to add fun, but I don't want to overcomplicate everything, and so I have not done that there. And so I'm actually very behind on this sample. I really thought I'd be like almost finished by now, and it's taken a back seat this week. Here is my cardigan sample. It's in Cascade 220 in a very bright red yarn, and it's obviously a round neck. I am not very good at lace, and so I'm currently halfway through a row because I messed up my lace and I need to drop down and fix it, and I've not been willing to do that for a few days. Here is my yarn. I cast this on in a slightly richer red, which is Pure Gint. Maybe it's Christmas red, I'm not sure, but it's a really, like, it's over there somewhere. It's a really rich cherry red. I could not get a gauge. And it's funny to me because Pure Gint is only, like, sometimes I would use them interchangeably, like a Cascade and a Filcolana Pernilla Highland wool and Pure Gint. And both Cascade is also Peruvian wool, I believe. And I could be completely wrong about that, so don't quote me. But Cascade and Peruvian feel pretty similar to me. Yeah, I'd use them together on a project even. It's exactly the same yardage. They're both 100 meters per 50 grams. So like this is 100 meters per 50 grams, this is 200 per 100 grams. The Pure Gint is 92 per 50 grams, which is what, 184 per 100 grams. So it's only 16 meters less than the Cascade and this, and I tell you, I was so off gauge. I knit the whole back panel and then I measured it and it was like 5 centimeters too big, and I went all the way down to like a 2.5mm needle because I think I have my very loose gauge, but for those lace, and it was like dense as anything. I thought that was so strange. I've not had that before, so I'm using Cascade and I'm completely on gauge, which I just think is so surprising. Like I definitely, Pure Gint is definitely thicker, but it surprised me that it was so much thicker that it made such a big impact on gauge, which I thought was interesting. So this is Luce, Luce. She comes out very early August, and it's funny because one of the reasons I don't do a pattern in August is because my birthday is at the end of August, and so there's a birthday sale in August, and it also means that it's always a good month for sales, and every year it's become a better month because I've had more patterns that are available, and so it's always as well for sales, and so I'm always like, oh well, just like, it's also nice to take a break before you jump into like cold weather patterns. But what's kind of fun is I'm going to launch this at my birthday sale price and just be like, the sale starts now for this one pattern. So there we go. It's going to be really hot tomorrow in the Netherlands. It's going to be like 28 degrees, I think. So I'm not going to wear... I was so tempted to get my buttons sewed on and to wear this tomorrow, but I don't think I'm going to. It could be this hot. But I'll wear it hopefully once I'm back. I'm hoping... Yeah, we've kind of got like overcast grey weather today. But I'm hoping... I'm just checking the weather right now, that is not lasting. Yeah, next week... Oh, it's going to rain a lot. Well, I said it's going to rain every single day, but I think it's just like little showers. Thursday looks nice. Maybe I'll wear it next week on Thursday. That is how my summer is going. Planning my outfits 6 days in advance. So there we go. That is the Luce. I really like it. It's a little bit of a... Yeah, I feel like it was... I was telling myself like, you don't need to put more on your plate. You do not need to put more on your plate. But I was chasing the joy. I was doing the fun thing. And so I was like, well, why not? I was trying to work out my other whippet and I was like, I've got one more, and what is it? Okay, talking of chasing joy, I cast on something purely for the fun and purely because I want the finished object, which I do sometimes, but I try to rein it in, especially when I've got like deadlines. This one I'm doing it purely for the fun. So I released a pattern a month ago. Was it even a month? I think it was a month. The start of this month, called Millsy. I'll put some pictures here. It is a pretty simple like button-up t-shirt or tank top. And it's got options for like a knit edge or a rolled edge. And I feel like rolled edges are everywhere this year. Again, I'm just a trend hopper. I love a rolled edge. I knit so many rolled edges in the book. So I feel like from November to whatever, March, April, because that was the deadline, I was like, rolled edge, rolled edge, rolled edge. You get a rolled edge and you get a rolled edge. And then I finished and I was like, I have one more rolled edge in me. And that was the Millsy. So I made myself 2 samples that have rolled edges. I've worn my white one a lot. I've not worn the pink one as much. I think I need to redo the buttons on it because I think I'm worried the buttons will pop off in public. So yes, I should redo the buttons is what I'm hearing. And then I was in Marks and Spencer's, which is a ready to wear, well, it's actually like a department store, I guess. They also sell food, so I don't really know what you're calling it, but it is a store here in the UK. And they had, I was there because like my friends visiting and they needed to use the bathroom to change their baby, and I'm like wandering around looking at all the clothes, and they had this jumper. I'm not sure if I can still find it, but I think I've got a screenshot on my phone if it's not alive, not online anymore. And it was like a v-neck summer weight cotton jumper with a rolled edge neck. Now theirs was in reverse stockinette. I just can't get on board with it. I don't know if people agree, but there's something about it feels wrong. It feels like an inside out sweater, and I don't know if that's because I'm a knitter or if that's just my brain. But I just struggled with reverse stockinette. I think sometimes it works really well with like intentional fades and stuff. Like it does work really well in that sense. But when I see it, I'm like, sweater's inside out. So I'm keeping it stockinette basically is what I'm trying to say. But here we go. I'm making a yellow, oh gosh, my bag is tiny and it's just been curled up in the bag for 3 days since I finished the body or the neckline. I tried it on, it looks really nice. I like it a lot. If I've got a picture, I'll put it here. I think I took a picture. It's looking like a very pale yellow, but it's actually got like a good amount of colour in it. It is Santa's Gone Duo, which is a wool cotton blend, which having knit with the drops cotton and wool, I was like, maybe there's some cotton wools I don't like. I like this one. It is round in the same way that one feels, but it doesn't feel as squeaky. I don't know if that means anything. I can't testify to how it wears because I've not worn it yet. And it's the first time working with it, but so far so good. I've enjoyed working with it. Now the neckline is rolled and I like that a lot. I've rolled the body and I'm already thinking I don't think I want the whole body to be rolled. Now my inspiration sweater, the body is rolled. I think I need to block it because right now it's really just like it's rolling a lot, and I think with block it won't roll quite as much as this. I forgot what I was saying. I think I was saying that the body is rolling too much, and I think I don't like that. I think it's looking a little scruffy. But I'm going to block it out and see. I do like one of my Millsy samples has got a rolled edge at the hem, and I like that. It doesn't feel too much. So it could just be that this hasn't been blocked yet, so it's looking all a bit messy. But I might also rip it out and do a ripped bottom and then just do rolled edges on the neck and the sleeves. The sleeves are set in, so I didn't do a whole sleeve cap shaping, which I can't be bothered doing at the moment. But my goal, I'd like to get this finished next week. It would be nice. And once the sleeve cap's done, then it'd be like very easy plain knitting, which would be fun. And I thought I only had this much left, so I ordered more yarn, and I got to the bottom of my whip basket and I realised I had 2 more anyway. So now I have these 2. I have all of this for the sleeves plus 3 more skeins. So possibly I'll end up with extra yarn and I don't know what I'll do with it, but it's not the end of the world. Worse things have happened than me having 3 extra skeins of yarn. Okay, I'm worried if my camera keeps switching off because of the heat, which is not even hot here. I don't understand what's happening. I think it's the fact that the bottom is blocked because it's not on a tripod. But I've got 2 more things to talk about, and then I realise also it is 3 o'clock. I have a pattern to release and I have not finalised it. Well, the document's been checked over, but I need to get the pictures uploaded and get a schematic in. I've not finalised the pattern pages and I've not got my email ready to send out. And it's meant to go out with the test call, and the test call is not remotely ready. I've not even done yardages for that yet. So all I have to say, I need to get a move on, but that's okay. I've got 2 more things to show you, so that's fine. What is this? Something stuck to my jumper. Okay, let me do other order. I'm talking about this in terms of acquisition of yarn. I've got 2 sets of acquisitions to show you, and it feels relevant because these 2 patterns are currently in testing and they're going to come out this autumn, and I've got a second sample planned. So the very first one is Strewn. Now there's a pattern in the book. This is very similar to a book pattern, but the pattern in the book is not got a zipper, which is a zipper, and it is hooded. And I love that hoodie. I've been living in that hoodie and I've wanted to zip up like a full zippered sweater for a while, and so this just was created, and this is Strewn. It is a raglan sweater and it has this beautiful, beautiful, very clean zip, which I love. I think I meant to redo the zip once more, at least just the top neck. It's sitting, I don't know if you can tell, it doesn't look that bad on camera, but I think it's sitting a little too high, and I think it's because the zip is flaring out a little bit, so I think I'm just going to undo my sewn in zipper to like here and then redo it, which is fine. I used Fabric Company lower, and Fabric Company is now no longer functioning, which is kind of sad, but the yarn is beautiful. I have a second sample with a sample knitter. I'm trying to utilise more sample knitters at the moment while I'm still pushing on with book finalisations, and just telling myself that's okay, like that's something I'm allowed to do. Like it doesn't make me a bad designer to use a sample knitter for if I've already made samples myself too. So one is with that, and then the third version I'm making myself. Now there's going to be 3 because I really want one. It's got a high collar option, so this is like a round neck, but it's also going to have an option with like a full, like a properly, like I think it's an 8 centimeter collar, which hopefully when you open it, it's going to like flop out. But if the zipper is too intimidating, I wanted to offer a button band just in case someone wants to bail on that and just do a button band. So I'm going to make a cardigan version too, and I've got some yarn for it. I'll put my inspiration here, and I've got 2 colours because I think it's going to be almost all this colour, but the one that I like has got these like sporty looking stripes of white. It's a little like varsity jacket-esque. So this is Oxford Blue and this is Cream. It's from Kelburn Woolens. So the only issue is sometimes the parcels arrive super fast and sometimes they take like 4 weeks to come, but it's super well priced, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm using yarns that are readily accessible for other, like it's not super accessible for me and that it's hard to get my hands on, or else like it takes a while to come. But for a lot of knitters this is much easier to get than what my other sample is going to be in, if that makes sense. So there we go, Germantown DK. I'm excited to work with these, we'll see how it goes. The pattern comes out in September, so I'll probably cast this on relatively quickly. Probably once my red loose is done, this will be the next thing that I cast on. And I'm very excited for the sample that's being knit up by Tori. She just keeps asking, like, should I do this? What about this? What about this? We're doing a little crop just to be shorter. And I want to do a split zip on that one where the zip goes like both ways. I don't know how those work, but I just have seen it and think it looks cool. My plan is like knit the thing or have the thing knit and then worry about that part later, which is fine. I can do that. So that is Strewn. It comes again in 2 fit options. So standard women's chart and a standard men's chart. And it's been tested by knitters of all genders, which is lovely. And last but not least, I'm a fan of Noah Kahan, who is an American singer-songwriter. And I went through a real phase where I was so into his album Stick Season, and I designed the Stick Season sweater, and it's one of my favourite designs I've ever designed. And it also coincided with the year I went to Rhinebeck, and then like I was, we were driving upstate to Rhinebeck with my Stick Season. Like it's a very emotive pattern for me, and Noah Kahan brought out another album this year, so it felt right to make a second Noah album sweater, and I knit it. I honestly, this feels like a fever dream. I don't really remember knitting this. I don't remember the process of knitting on this. It just now exists. Oh, it's so good. It's too hot to wear this at the moment, but I will be wearing it as soon as I can. I don't think this yarn, like in real life, this pops so much, and I think it's struggling a little on camera. I struggle with the photos getting this texture to really pop. It has this like chevron almost on the front and on the back across the chest. It's a drop shoulder construction, and this pattern is called Headed North, and it is a sweater and a cardigan, and oh, I just love it so much. There is a song on the album called Headed North, which I think is not one of the more popular songs, which is okay, but I was kind of torn because the title track is not a very, like, it's called The Great Divide, this album, and there is a Great Divide song, but it's kind of a sad song. To be honest, all of his songs are sad, but that one just felt like a bit too sad. Whereas I like Headed North. Like, it starts with a guitar and they're like sitting at a campfire outside, and I also really enjoyed that I often cast these on, like I cast on new projects when we're travelling north ourselves, when we're going to like the Cairngorms or like away for a weekend, and so I cast this on one of those trips, and I feel it's very emotive, like Headed North, me, my sweater, I don't know. Now, Noah Cad is from Vermont, and there is a Vermont mill. Sorry, my phone is going, we just turned that off. And it felt silly to make this design and not use some of their yarn. So I originally ordered some. It's in a red colour. It wasn't a red I loved. I don't know what it was about it, but the red just wasn't calling to me. So I had this yarn in stash, which is Pure Gint from Sandnesgarn. And so I cast it on and got it going. But in the meantime, I ordered some more of the yarn. Now this is Roots by Junction Fibre Mill, who are based in Vermont, who are like in the town that Noah Can is from, which just feels just so apt. This is their undyed colourway. And this is what my cardigan is going to be in, and I'm so excited. It's going to be like a drop shoulder cardigan with a big chunky neckline in this colour. It's going to be, I'm going to wear it a lot. I can tell already it's going to be a staple piece. It's a small batch processing mill in the heart of WRJ. I don't know. Oh, right, White River Junction. Sorry, I knew that. White River Junction. Started by two sheep farmers and friends, Amanda and Peggy. So there we go. I got some of this yarn in a different base, in the Making Tracks base at Rhinebeck in 2023, and I just today sent that one off to be made into a sample of the sweater. So I'm going to have two sweaters in their yarn, and it's going to come out just before Rhinebeck, so if anyone is going to Rhinebeck and wants to get yarn for it, I'm sure... I actually have no idea if Junction Fibre Mill are going, but I assume they are, and maybe I'll give them a heads up that the pattern is coming out then, just in case they want to kiss it up or something, I don't know. But yeah, I really love it. It makes me really happy, this one, and it makes me like yearn for colder days, which I think is exactly what it should do. Like it gets my autumnal senses tingling. I've had such a nice few summer days. I went to the beach and I went paddleboarding, and like there was a morning last week where I was like up early and out on the paddleboard, and I was like, I had my morning coffee out on the paddleboard. Like that is so nice with the sun. And I was like, maybe I'm a summer person, like maybe I'm not an autumn person. And then like 2 days later, there's like nip in the air and it was cold, and I was like, I feel alive. I feel alive. So I think maybe I still definitely am an autumnal person. Just summer almost got me for a minute there. But yeah, that's all my projects. It is a lot, but that's okay. It's been a long time since I filmed. And yeah, currently, I guess I do currently have, I've got a whip I've got a secret whip at the moment. I guess I only have 3 works in progress right now, because I finished this like 3 days ago. And so there's not really a whole lot on my needles, but that is okay. I think I probably won't cast on anything else until I get this yellow done. And then after that I'll cast on one of the next things on my like for fun lists. Probably I'll cast on this actually. Next is what I'll cast on, which I'm very excited for. And then yeah, what's going on? Well, first I cut my hair. I should have maybe said that earlier in the video. I love it. I'm actually a little sad because it was quite long, and then I cut it to like here, and then we took the pictures for the book, and then I cut it even shorter. And this feels so like me that I'm kind of sad that this is not the hair of the book. But it's okay. I'll get over it. It's really not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of the world. But I just feel so much like myself with my hair like this length. It just feels fun, and like, yeah. And I washed it last night. I slept with it. Did I dry it? I'm not even sure. I dried it and I didn't do anything to it. It's just naturally like this, and it's so easy and it feels good for summer. So I cut my hair. And yeah, I guess the book is the main reason I think I've been away, just because it's just been so much work. The 22nd, so the day before yesterday, I officially wrapped up all of my book test knits. It was 18 test knits since November. Maybe even, yeah, I think the first test call went out in November. Actually, it was 19 test knits because one of the patterns in the book got test knit and is not in the final book because it got replaced by something else. And so technically I knit, there's a pattern in there which I knit twice, ultimately. I knit a version, I didn't like it. Well, I knit a version, I tested it, I decided that I'd seen the concept everywhere and I was like, I'm adding nothing special. And so then I went back to the drawing board with the concept and it's a completely different pattern, completely different yarn, and it got retested as a new pattern. New pattern, new name, everything, which is kind of weird but quite funny. So technically it was 19 test knits since November, alongside regularly scheduled programming, and I was just feeling like, you know, like the water's up to here and your head is just above it. That was kind of how I felt. I feel like someone's pulled the plug and the water's starting to drain out, you know? That's where I'm at. But that's okay. I feel like next week's going to be a big week. My content deadline is creeping closer, which will be fun. I'm looking forward to getting the content deadline done because the content is followed by the layout, and then the layout is followed by the proofreading, and then the proofreading is followed by the print date, and the print date is followed by the marketing, and then the marketing is followed by the launch, and those are all things that I'm very excited for. But I know it's all coming. It's all like on the very, like, it was kind of like oh, at some point I'll get around, you know, eventually that part will come, and now I'm like, yep, in like 3 weeks we're doing layout, which is very cool. It's not 3 weeks, it's more than that. But either way, I'm very excited and a bit nervous. And it's just been a lot, like getting those patterns ready, getting them finalised, getting them formatted the correct way, and then just doing like regular stuff, you know, the other bits of regular pattern launches and emails, and that was all kind of just a lot that was going on. So I feel like the podcast kind of fell to the side, which is a shame, and I don't want that to happen, but at the same time, if something's got to give, it's got to give, and that's okay. I'd rather come to you full of energy, I say it in a very stoic, drab voice. I'd rather come to you full of energy and like enthused than like drag myself to film, you know? So that is fun. And yeah, I'm so excited. There's a late November print date, and you'll see the designs in October, and that's about all I've got in the book. And otherwise, yeah, I'm gonna go leave now, get the Gia pattern ready to launch, have a little snack, I think. I've got an ice lolly somewhere to eat, and launch a pattern, edit a video, and then pack a bag to go on a little one-day holiday tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. I'm sorry for leaving it just so long, and I'll see you next time. Bye!